Hello, creatives. Thank you for dropping by. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe and like button. And if you happen to hear something that you enjoy or that's useful in your life, please leave a comment below. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Morning voice. Okay, so today I want to talk about being your biggest fan. This is a tough one because anytime we as creatives want to take something on, it's usually in the space of obscurity. What do I mean? No one knows who you are. No one knows what you're doing. No one knows what you're up to. And so the only person that has to motivate you, drum roll, is you. You got to be your biggest fan. You have to be the one to push yourself. When I wrote my first book, there was there were only, I think, maybe a few people who knew I was doing it. My wife and my oldest kids knew, and they were definitely behind me. They were supporting me all the way. But I had to be my biggest fan. I had to push myself to, back then I was writing in a Starbucks and I was just writing every day, and I'd go over there for hours at a time and try to get these stories out. And it was tough. It's tough because you don't know if it's going to work. You don't know if it's worthwhile, and you don't know if anyone's gonna read your stuff. And that's in anything. Like if you're any kind of creative, and we're all creative in some way, you don't know if it's going to pan out, if it's going to be effective, if it's going to, if anyone else is going to be like, hey, that's a great idea. You don't know. In the beginning, that you're in obscurity. No one knows except for you. And here's the thing that I realized. Most people won't support you if you don't support yourself. Here's what I mean. If you're not passionate or excited or really bursting at the seams with the ideas that you have and the things that you want to do, if you are not that way, then most people won't support you, because it'll seem to them, to the people who are looking, it'll seem like he's not really into it, or she's not really into it. It can't be that important. So I don't know if I'm going to go, and support them. But if you're a passionate person, if you're your biggest fan, if it's all you can talk about, if you really want to share this stuff with people, if you have this energy that you want to share, then that's contagious. That's something that people buy into and want to be part of. And so you must be your biggest fan, even when no one else knows. And more importantly, when no one else believes that you can do what you're doing, that's when you really have to be your biggest fan. I mean, you can read all the success stories of people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and, Edison and all these other people that have created things that have impacted society. But at the end of the day, what's important, what you really have to focus on, is that they didn't take no for an answer. And when no one else believed in them, they themselves were their biggest fan. That means doing it when no one else wants, when you don't want to do it, when no one else believes in you, when no one knows what you're doing it anyway. Doing it when you have a great response, doing it when you have a poor response, doing it when you have no response. You still do it. You have to believe in what you're doing, because if you do that, if you believe in what you're doing and you're doing it for long enough, eventually people will see what you're doing and, hey, wait a minute, that's actually really good. Let me find out a little bit more about this. Looks interesting. And so if you believe in you and you're conveying that in what you're doing, trust me, over time, people will get on board. But that only happens if you believe in you. So you've got to be your biggest fan. You've got to be able to talk about what you're doing. You've got to be able to share with other people, no matter what. It has to be front of mind all the time, because you only have one fan at the moment. You only have one person supporting you, which is you. And so you have to believe in you, and you have to be the most fervent believer. And that energy will get other people on board to believe in what you're doing and support you. And so today, the thought I want you to take with you is be your biggest fan. Be your biggest fan, no matter what it is you're doing, whether it's writing a book, painting, sculpting, crocheting, painting a house, fixing your home, cleaning your kitchen, whatever it is that you pour yourself into in a creative expression, be your biggest fan. That's what's most important. And above all, be uncommon. Have a great, great day.